Hey guys, what's up? It's me, and I am back again for another vlog video today. I am rushing around a little bit today because I do have quite a lot to do. So yeah, I just got out of the shower, and we're going to do Q&A today, but that's going to be a little bit later. I still do have to go to the gym. I have been slacking off so much on the gym lately. Like, I haven't even been there in a week. It's been ridiculous, but my eating's been pretty good, and that's why I wanted to kind of come on right now. Like I just woke up, I just took a shower. Who goes to the gym after they've taken a shower? Well, sometimes I do that because I didn't shower all day yesterday, and like, how much stank can we pile on to one day, right? So anyway, I wanted to take a shower, kind of feel refreshed. I haven't been that motivated to go to the gym, so this is gonna like just make me feel a lot better. But anyway, I wanted to kind of take you guys with me, and ooh, that was fun. Woo! Take you guys with me to show you, because some of you are like, oh, what do you eat? And I'm not going to go into like a whole what I eat in a day, because sometimes it's like a whole cheesecake or a bunch of cookies and like just really bad. But for the most part, I do try to keep it in check, and I've been juicing lately, and so when I do juice, oh, it makes me feel so much better, especially when I do it first thing in the morning, and then maybe another one for lunch, and then maybe even a third one, and then have like some solid food later on. Like, I'm not like on a really like perfect schedule with it. I'm very random with it. I sort of just like listen to how I feel, and sometimes my body is like, you need to eat that whole cheesecake, and sometimes it's like, okay, seriously, let's just juice all day long. So I'm gonna just show you guys my little juice concoction that I do, and it's a green juice, and it just makes me feel so good when I do it. So hold on, let me put it on the tripod. Okay, so basically I have my I'll use kale when it looks pretty decent in the supermarket. I have a bunch of celery here. Everything is organic, because why do you want to have super concentrated pesticide drink, right? And I know, well, let's not get into that whole thing, but I do go organic when I am using ingredients for my juicing. So that's my kale with a bunch of organic parsley in the middle there. I have a little nubby of some ginger here that I'll just sort of tuck into there to kind of keep it in place, because I don't have like the best juicer in the world, but it does the job. So I like to kind of, that way it doesn't just like shoot it out the bin, and it kind of gets in there. I have some celery, I have a couple of carrots, I have a green apple and a half, so it's like 1.5 green apples and 2 lemons. So that's pretty much my juice drink. That, whoops, I just kicked the camera. That's pretty much my juice drink that I will drink. I try to do it, you know, well, I don't do it every morning. Some days I wake up and I eat cookies. But anyway, let me go ahead and start juicing this thing. Okay guys, so this is so good. I do love drinking this juice, and it's so very filling. It's so good. It's so refreshing. It's so lemony. Where you going, Winkle? Okay, so anyway, let me just get on with my day. I have to dry my hair. I'm going to run to the gym. I feel like I'm scrambling a lot today. I've been on the phone all morning with like just like stupid people and stupid business stuff, and just like people not doing what they say they're going to do. I hate that. It's like, follow through, you know? If I ran my business the way that half of these people do their jobs in a day, I'd have been out of business in a week. Like, it's so freaking frustrating. So anyway, that's been my morning, just like on the phone with like stupid people. And so I'm going to go to the gym, work out my aggressions. I have to plan my Easter desserts. We're going to do Q&A later. Anyway, we'll chat later. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh yeah, baby, good shoulder workout today. I'll tell you what, I hate skipping the gym. I get into such like a out of the routine about it, and I hate that because I love the gym so much. I had an awesome shoulder workout. I'm gonna clean myself up, guys. We're gonna do Q&A. All right, you guys, it is getting to be shorts weather here in Jersey, and spring is trying to happen. Don't look at my feet because I need a pedicure. Yeah, it's like 50 degrees. All the snow is melting outside, so spring is definitely around the corner, and I'm super excited about it. So, all right, yeah, Q&A. We're going to do Q&A. So for those of you guys who watched my vlog from last week, I was driving you over to my Instagram so that you can ask questions, and that is where I'm going to pull all the questions from for today's Q&A vlog. But I also had a few people on YouTube who said that they don't do Instagram, and they asked their questions there. So I did jot them down, but I left them in the other room, so I'll be right back. All right, so let's get right into it. I'm going to go ahead to my Instagram post from last week. And, ooh, I have a Facebook message. Hold on a minute. Okay, I can't look at that right now. I'll look at that later. But, what was I going to say? Oh, so I posted last week on Instagram to ask whatever questions that you guys want me to answer, and what I got was what I pretty much expected. Was the most asked question that I've been getting for like years and years is, why did you sell your bakery? Why did you move to Florida? Why did you move back to New Jersey? And what happened to your other YouTube channels from like years ago? So I'm not going to answer those questions here today, because what happened was I did a vlog last week called 2017 Storm of the Century and Why I Left Florida. So you guys go ahead and check out that vlog from last week, and that'll answer all of those questions. And I'll link everything below. So I'm not going to answer those particular questions that were asked to me on Instagram, but I will answer all of the other ones. Okay, so all right, it's going to be hard to say all of these Instagram handles, but I'll try my best. So this one is from Iska Diska. Gretchen, are you familiar with a product called manufacturing cream? And the answer is no, I'm sorry, I do not. I am not. Okay, what's the next one? Here's one that I do get quite a lot. And this is like all around my veganism, my transition to veganism here on my channel, and also on my blog with all my recipes. So this is from Tina6104. So, I'm not vegan, but I still love watching your videos. My question is, do you have a guide as to how us non-veganers can convert flax into eggs? All right, I'm going to go into this whole dissertation of how I feel about that. There is an explanation in the description box below all of my recipe videos on YouTube, explaining why I transitioned to vegan, blah, blah, blah. My cats are going nuts because I opened the door. They want to go in and out. And so once I did that, see, the whole thing around it is that the whole animal industry is so completely exploited and horrifying, and I don't want any part of it. And so for me to then, when I made this decision to transition to vegan, the whole point is to stay away from these animal products, right? So if I'm now going to do all my recipes in vegan and then still provide the animal counterpart to it, like say, like in my opinion, that's still advocating for the animal industry. And so I'm so completely on the fence about that. And while I do respect you guys who are not vegan, just as you're respecting me while I am vegan, I just feel like I don't want to then promote the egg industry and the milk industry and like that, because then what's the point of me transitioning to vegan and advocating for the rights of animals if I'm still going to say, well, if you don't want to use the flax, then go ahead and use eggs. You know what I'm saying? It's like my hope is that you guys will be open to the vegan substitutes and really try the flax egg, and it doesn't mean that the recipe is bad just because it doesn't have eggs in it. Like, oh my god, you guys, these recipes are awesome. So I think there's a really like a wall when it comes to people who aren't vegan. They're going, oh no way, I'm not going to use flax, I'm not going to use this, I'm not going to use that. Like, forget it, the recipe sucks. And so I don't know, I guess like I just feel like if I start giving the conversions for those things, then what's the point of me advocating for animals? I'm still saying, all right, go ahead and use eggs and milk. So anyway, that's sort of like how I feel about that. You can easily Google the flax conversion of an egg, you know, and then you can easily see how to convert backwards. But by me providing that information, I just feel like then I'm advocating for the animal torture industry, and I really don't want to do that. So I hope that's a good enough explanation, and I'm sure I've pissed a lot of people off by saying that. You know, Gretchen'sBakery.com still has 300 plus non-vegan recipes where you can, like, look, if I'm using a yellow cake recipe that's vegan, and you don't want to do that, then go grab my yellow cake recipe that's not vegan. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's where I feel, that's where I stand on that, and that's where I stand on that. So anyway, I know a lot of people asked that question, so that answered quite a few of that. The next one. Okay, here's another one. People are real curious about the whole vegan thing, and I guess that's a good thing. I mean, I guess, like, when I started this vlog, I was like, all right, I don't want to go, like, there with the vegan thing, and I don't want to, like, talk about that whole spin on it. This vlog is going to, like, not even touch on that, but you know what? It's who I am, and it's part of my life now, and anyway, so here's another question about veganism, and this is from Joanne Jacquin. Hi Gretchen, I'm wondering when and why you decided on becoming vegan. Also, will you only be sharing vegan recipes from now on? So your second question has already been answered. Yes, I'm only going to be sharing vegan recipes from now on because that's my belief, and I'm not going to go back the other way. It's sort of like somebody, I made this analogy, it's sort of like somebody who doesn't use alcohol anymore, and they're against it for whatever reason, religious, addiction reasons, like they just don't want to use it anymore, and then other people are like, oh my God, but I wish that you would use alcohol because I like alcohol. You know, it's almost like wishing that that person would change their belief system just to suit everyone else, and I'm not going to do that. So, like I said, there's 300 plus recipes over at Gretchen'sBakery.com that are all non-vegan, and I don't know, if you guys don't want to be open-minded to these awesome new recipes that I'm putting out, then you guys are missing out, and I'm sorry about that. But the first part of the question was, where did it go? Oh, wondering when and why you decided to become vegan, and I think I answered a lot of the why in the first part of the other question, but I have a, I'll link below too, I have a whole blog post of sort of like my explanation and my transition to vegetarianism, which started for me way back in my teens, that I started dabbling in not wanting to eat animals, and this was before the internet, this was before any information was out there, this was before any of the undercover horrific videos that we see now about what's really going on in these industries, and something in me was just like, there's just something in me that it doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't feel right, and as much as I loved a cheeseburger and a steak, like seriously, I was a steak and potatoes gal, like for real. It's not because I don't love how it tastes. I mean, maybe at this point I would be totally grossed out by it because it's been like over 8 years that I haven't eaten an animal. But my vegan transition is more recent, and that means no eggs, no cheese, no dairy, like that. And so that's been a more recent transition, and it's just a progression. It's just like this, you know, look, here's the nutshell. We're all born vegan, but we are taught to lose our humanity. So I know a lot of people aren't on board with this school of thought, and I really do hope that you'll check out the links that I provide below of the whys. And these industries really are so very political, and they are so very hush-hush about what's really going on. There is so much misinformation out there about the industry, first of all, eating animals and your health, the health of our planet because of all of this stuff. So, you know, that again, like I didn't want to go into this whole rant about it. It's my belief, and I'm not trying to like push it on you guys, but you asked, and so there's the answer. All right, let's move on to another question. Ruiz 1085. Gretchen, can you take us around New Jersey? Nothing in particular, just show us around the city. I've never been there and would love to see around a bit. Absolutely, I love this idea, and as I said, spring is trying to come out, all the snow is melting. Once the weather breaks here, I plan to take you guys around because I can't wait to get on the road and, hold on a second. Okay. I can't wait to get out there, and you know, I have been in Florida for the last almost 2 years, so I can't wait to just start driving around the farms and seeing the cows and the pastures. And Jersey is so beautiful. One of the big reasons why I came back here was because I love being outdoors and I love the Jersey terrain. So anyway, yes to that. That's going to happen soon. And also thank you. You said I'm one of your favorites, and thank you. Gardener Donna. Gretchen, was wondering if you are human like us and have failures when baking. I get so frustrated when I go to a lot of effort to bake something and it does not turn out. Yes, that happens to me, of course, and that goes along with the whole trial and error of testing out recipes, right? And that's why I really do try my hardest to help you guys with the science of baking, so that when you do have a recipe failure, you can figure out why. And that is actually the part that I love about it. And for those of you who have been following me for a really long time, you'll know that way back when, I always used to say, mistakes are your best teacher. Because when you do make a mistake, that's the best way to learn from something. You can see hands-on exactly what happens when you do this, that, or the other thing. And I think what happens with so many other channels or chefs or recipes or wherever you guys are getting your recipes, it's just the recipe. And what I pride myself on here at Gretchen's Bakery is that I love to teach you guys the science of it, and so that you can learn what happened and why it happened, and then you know, so that it won't happen again. So anyway, yes, that does happen to me because it happens to everybody. And so sometimes recipe failures just come from having a crappy recipe, which I hate because what a waste of time and money, right? But also recipe failures come from 9 times out of 10 measuring, and I'll always say that we don't measure correctly. And I have another vlog that I'll link below. I think it's called Whiskey Workouts and Measuring with a Scale, and that explains to you guys exactly why we have recipe failures. 9 times out of 10, it's because we're not measuring properly. Another thing just happened to me the other day because my brain wasn't all completely there. Like, I was just thinking of other things as I was doing this recipe, and I was actually filming it. Yeah, big. And if I caught it on film, I'll probably leave it in the video just to show you guys that, yeah, I do make mistakes too. And a lot of it is just not concentrating, not measuring correctly, and then just not really knowing why things work the way they do inside of a recipe. So yes, that happens to me, absolutely. Sheila Tequila. Hi Gretchen, how did you start up your bakery business? Well, I didn't exactly start it up. I bought an existing bakery which was in business for close to 40 years by the time I bought it. And so I did not do a startup. However, I wanted to do a startup. I'd never intended to buy an existing business because with that, you're actually buying someone else's presence, if you will. So when I stepped into the bakery that I bought, it didn't really quite feel like it was mine for a couple of years, actually. It always felt like I was just like in someone else's business because the guy before me owned it for like 16 years, so his presence and his signature and his handprint was all over everything, and it took several years for me to kind of put my own personality and spin into it, and for the customers to actually receive me and trust me and know that I wasn't going to like screw up this bakery. So that's one of the cons about buying an existing business, is that it doesn't always quite feel like it's yours right away. But anyway, the pros with that is that it's way cheaper to buy an existing business than it is to do a startup, because with a startup you need to buy equipment, like just kind of build the bakery to what you want, and then you open up and nobody knows you're there. And so I bought an existing business with an existing clientele, and so I already had a base following of customers. So I hope that answers your question. Cecia Dessig. Hey Gretchen, are all the recipes on your channel now vegan, or when do the vegan recipes begin? Also, was it hard to transition from a vegetarian to a vegan? I've been vegetarian for a month now and do plan to continue for the rest of my life. It's not as hard as I thought, but vegan does seem a little bit more challenging. And lastly, I love you. Aw, thanks. I love you too. You're so humble, such a lovely person. Aw, okay, I can't go on with all the compliments. It's making me blush. All right, but thank you. So let me address the question. Are all the recipes on your channel now vegan? Yes, I did say that already. Also, was it hard to transition from vegetarian to vegan? Yes, absolutely it was. I was vegetarian for 8 years before I could stop eating cheese. And I just stopped eating cheese probably about 2 years ago. And you know what, guys, if you just open yourself up to the actual truth of what's happening out there, it's really not that hard. My love for animals and just sentient beings and like peace and non-violence is way more important to me than the way a cheeseburger tastes. And so that's really it for me. And so no, it wasn't hard, because when you see a mama cow crying, literally crying and screaming because her baby's being ripped from her just so that we could have the milk and the baby gets none, that's all it took for me. I saw that video. I never ate another piece of cheese again. So no, it's not hard when you can take yourself out of it and actually think about what's happening to these animals. So keep going. Yes. Aframariam, do you cook anything other than cakes and desserts, and would you consider expanding your channel so that it has savory recipes? I have considered that, and yes, of course I do cook other things than just cakes and desserts. I mean, I do eat regular food every day, and I do cook some pretty awesome recipes in my opinion. And so yeah, I have considered to expand my channel into adding those sort of things. I mean, it's nothing like fancy or gourmet, or it's just like basically things that I throw together and I'm like, wow, that's so tasty, and maybe you guys would be interested. So I may incorporate that into this vlog at some point. So yes, thank you for that. Belladonna5860, what do you think of that guy Anthony from Aunt's Desserts? I think you guys should do a collab together. He's fantastic and so are you. Alright, Anthony Gaccione, hitting up your mom's Instagram to slip in that comment. Shameless plug for Aunt's Desserts. Anthony is a friend of mine who actually we became friends through this channel. Listen, you guys, this YouTube channel for me is, I have made so many friends, even if it's just from on the other side of the computer screen and I haven't met you. I consider so many of you my friends, and a handful of you I've met, and Anthony is one who, I don't know, I just really like him, and honestly, if I can say I have a protege, it is definitely Anthony. So check out his Facebook, Aunt's Desserts. I have seen some of his recreations of what I make and done a double take and said, did I make that? Like, he recreates some of my cakes and desserts like almost exactly. So anyway, shameless plug, Anthony, but I know it's you. Ethan31 Roberts, I have watched you since the very start of the Woodland Bakery days and simply love your videos. My biggest question I have always wondered was why Paul stopped filming you. He added such a funny twist to everything. Well, I don't know who Paul is, but thank God he stopped filming me, because that's kind of creepy. I think you mean someone else who I will not mention, but I did address all of those things in my last vlog from last week, so links are below if you want the answers to that. It's my 2017 Storm of the Century vlog, so that answers that question. His name wasn't Paul. But how funny was that? I hope there wasn't somebody named Paul filming me. I better close my blinds, huh? Wade Manville, where do you find the most inspiration from when gathering ideas for new baking projects? Well, honestly, it's what I want to eat. Like, how selfish is that? Like, when I'm like, I don't know, I just like come up with these amazing, like everything's always chocolate, of course, and so that's the selfishness part of the answer to that question. It really is a lot of what I want to eat. For example, like here's a good example of an inspiration that I got, right? Girl Scout season is happening right now, so a friend of mine who I have been sort of spending a lot of time with lately, he bought Girl Scout cookies last weekend, and they were the tag-alongs, the peanut butter patties, but he left them in his friend's car, and so I was like, oh my god, I'll make them. So that was sort of like where I got some inspiration, and then I turned it into a whole video, and you guys will probably see that in a couple of days. I'll link below for that too. So that was an inspiration. Sort of things like that. Just like, I don't know, mostly it's really just what I want to eat that day, and so that's pretty much why all my desserts are chocolate. Manaza Tareen. Hi Gretchen, I love you. Thank you. How could you be so good at everything you make? Your recipes never disappoint me. Well, thank you so much. That's a really great compliment. I love to hear that. I pride myself on that. I would never put out an inferior recipe, and I really go to lengths to try to make you guys understand the mixing of it properly so that you have no failed results every time. But what was the other part? Oh, how could I be so good at everything I make? Well, thank you. And I don't know, I kind of compare myself to what's going on out there in the baking world right now, and I just think that I have been blown so far out of the water. I guess when it comes to decorating, because that's not my forte, but when it comes to recipes, I do think I am one of the gurus out there on how to formulate recipes. And you know, I've started my channel over 3 times, so I feel like just when I get like all of the base recipes done, and I'm like, all right, now I can start branching out and doing like really cool things, my channel falls apart, and then I have to start over again. So I feel like I always have to keep getting knocked down to the bottom to build up my base recipes again. So sometimes I feel like I'm not really doing fabulous things, but anyway, thank you for that. Forziati. Hey Gretchen, I know your channel became vegan, which is great. I would love to know how you would change a vegan recipe into a non-vegan recipe. I already kind of touched on that, and how I'm on the fence about doing that. I don't want to advocate for the animal industry by just giving the animal substitutions. It's pretty easy to look, if I'm using vegan cream cheese and you don't want to, then use regular cream cheese. It's a straight up sub. If I'm using vegan butter, you use regular butter. I know when it gets to be the flax egg, it's sort of like, all right, what do I do? You can easily Google that, but you know, because that's the thing, like, I'm just sort of on the fence about being like, all right, if you don't want to use it, just use eggs, you know, like, then why did I transition to vegan? So anyway, pretty easy to go back the other way with things like cream cheese, sour cream, what was the other thing that I said? Oh, butter, like things like that. It's a straight up just, you know, sub it in. Justin Aun? Hi Gretchen, if you could live the rest of your life as a cake, which would you be? What a great question. It would definitely be a chocolate cake, but what chocolate cake would it be? Probably, like, I don't want to say like my favorite cake, which, well, I have like 5,000 favorite cakes, but like if I was just to answer that like from a personality perspective, it would probably be a mint chocolate cake. First of all, my favorite color is green. Chocolate, like, forget about it. And mint because it's super cool, like me. So probably mint chocolate cake. What a cool question. I like that kind of stuff. M. Gabrielle 27. If you could have dinner with anybody, fictional, dead, or alive, who would it be? And more importantly, what would be for dessert? P.S. I love your recipes. They never disappoint. Thank you. Another great question. I love questions like this because it really like puts me into like a fantasy world. And I like being in fantasy world. So it would be 2 people. One is dead and one is alive. My 2 absolute like idols that I love. Gordon Ramsay, number 1, although I would be so nervous I would probably throw up at the table being around him. I love his passion. People might think he's a big jerk and it's hard to watch him like screaming at everybody, and that's totally done up for TV, and I do know that. But what I love is his passion and his respect for food, and that's why I love him so much. The second would be Julia Child. Like, that's a no-brainer. I absolutely love her. I have so much respect for her. She is just so, so wonderful. And so it would be her. And what would we have for dessert? I don't know. If it was Gordon Ramsay, I'm not really sure. I'd have to really think about that one. But if it was Julia Child, it would definitely be something classical, like, I don't know, just like a super classical baked Alaska, or a crepe Suzette, or like something just like super old school and classical, because that's who she was, and she was awesome. This is from Linda Circa. Gretchen, out of all the recipes you have created, which one is your most favorite? I would have to say my Death to Diets cake. because that was like super all my creation. Like most of the stuff that I'm doing is like a redo of a classical, like a Black Forest cake, or I don't know, like a Napoleon pastry, or just like, you know, things that have already been done before, right? So the Death to Diets cake was all my creation, and it was so amazing. And I'll link to that one below, because that one's still at gretchensbakery.com. And so, yeah, totally that one. Ida Beekman, what is your most favorite tool in your bakery work? Well, I have two of them. One, well, that's a lie. You said in my bakery work. So, okay, I have one, and it's definitely my blue-handled spatula. That has been with me for probably close to 20 years, and I absolutely love it. It's my most favorite tool. I guess aside from my $56,000 knife, and I think somebody asked that question, and when I get to that I will show you my knife, but I think it would be my blue-handled spatula. And when I first answered that I said two, because tongs are my second favorite utensil to work with in the kitchen, but that's when I'm cooking regular food, so that kind of doesn't count. Esme 1120, what were the jobs you had before you went to Culinary Institute of America? I have always been in the restaurant industry since I was 14 years old. I got my first job as a waitress at the Minuteman restaurant in Morristown, New Jersey. Two of my aunts worked there. One was the manager, the other one was the short order cook. And so I started working there when I was 14 as a waitress, but I'd always gravitated towards the bakery in that place. And then when I was 15, I went on to work out like this heavy-duty diner that was in Somerville, and oh my God, like for a 15-year-old to be hustling plates like that was insane. But I was always taught by old school people on how to work properly, how to work fast, how to work efficient. That was back when I was 15. Like if you came to work and your shoes weren't polished, you can go home. So like I learned from old school people like that, and I am so very grateful for that, because that kind of work ethic is lost today. I think there's maybe a pinch of people who can work like that nowadays. And so anyway, yeah, I've always been in the restaurant industry, mainly waitressing, and then once I went to school and got out of school, then it was like all bakery type jobs. I did work in a clothes store once when I was in high school. Absolutely hated it. Frau Flausch, in which moment do you make the connection to veganism? I think I already answered that earlier. This has been something that has been just like in my soul from when I was a teenager. And but I never quite made the connection until I was like later on, probably in my 30s, really. Gabby Riani, do you still have that $15,000 knife? It was actually a $56,000 knife, and I'll go grab it now. Yes, I still do have it. It is right here. This, for those of you who don't know the little joke behind this, when I went to the Culinary Institute of America, this goes back to Crumb Boss days, and when we would just say ridiculous things. My tuition, after I paid off my loans and all of the interest was paid, I ended up paying $56,000 for my tuition. And so the joke was that, because we got a knife kit, and it was this knife and a chef knife and like a zester and like whatever, a couple other utensils, and that was what we got when we got to school, because this is the things that we needed, right? So the joke was that I went to Culinary Institute of America, I paid $56,000 for my tuition, and all I got was this knife. So that's the joke. Yes, I still have it. It is still sharp. I love it the most for torting all of my cake layers. 20 plus however many years later, it is still my most fabulous knife. Sula Chan MKB. Hey Gretchen, are you married? No, I am not. I've actually never been married. This is from Diaz Recipes. What color are your eyes? They are green. Hey, Wiggle, stop chewing on the knife. Jesus, what a weirdo. LD Rob 21, do you have family members in New Jersey? Yes, I do. I have a very big extended family. I have 2 sisters, and my mom has 7 brothers and sisters, so that's all my aunts and uncles, and they all have kids that are my cousins, so Jersey is loaded up with my whole family, which was another reason why I really couldn't wait to come back. I really did truly miss my friends and family here in New Jersey. Erie Virar Janelle, I'm sorry if I didn't say that right. I really want to learn how to create my own recipes. Could you please show how to create them, especially for cakes? I've been watching your videos since the beginning, and I've always loved your videos and recipes, and I like your vlogs. Okay, well, thank you so much. As far as creating your own recipes and cake recipes, that's like a whole thing. And it's really important to understand the science of baking to be able to do that. So it's hard to answer that like in a question right now. Could I do that at some point? Yeah, I'll note that, and that's probably maybe something that we can touch on in one of these vlogs in the future. So now I'm going to move on to the couple of questions that were on YouTube. I know this is probably going super long, and I hope it's interesting to you guys. This is from YouTube, and this is from Angie, and she asked me about my hair color and how do I make a living. And I will absolutely call. I should have done that ahead of time because I knew about this question. Ugh, I should have called my salon and asked her the formula. But Angie, email me at gretchensbakery3@gmail.com, and I will get that information for you, and I will let you know the formula. And I know a couple other people were interested in that too. And yes, I do love the color too. This is really working for me. And I forgot to answer the second part of that question. How do I make a living? Basically from advertisements from Google. So please visit me on my blog and click the ads. That's how I make a living. Also, donate to me on PayPal and Patreon. This is from Christine. Do I watch any YouTube baking channels or shows on TV? And do I learn from them or just find them entertaining? Okay. I do not have television. I have not had cable in over 6 years, probably 7. I do not watch mainstream television. I watch everything from the computer, so YouTube and whatever I can get on Netflix or just like whatever's floating on the internet, that is what I watch. Like I've watched Cupcake Wars and things like that through Netflix. And so yes, I do love to watch those shows, and I do learn from them and I find them interesting. So for the most part I watch them just because it's entertaining, but as I'm watching them I find that like my brain starts swirling with different ideas, and I do get inspiration from watching what other people are making. So yeah. So good question. And oh, and she even asked another question. Do I ever get tired of baking, and how do I stay motivated to bake? I do not get tired of baking. I wish I got tired of baking, because what happens is I then eat all of the things that I'm baking. So yeah, I love it. How do I stay motivated to bake? I don't know. I just love eating cake and cookies. And I can't just go to the store and buy that stuff, because then I feel like a jerk. And it's like, why would I buy that when I can make it? So maybe my motivation is just like my insatiable appetite for cake and cookies. Ooh, my handwriting is awful. I think it's from Ging, G-H-I-N-G on YouTube. Are you considering to have a family in the future because you'd make a great wife and mom? Aw, thanks. I do think I would make a great wife and mom. As far as the mom thing, I've never really had like this desire to have kids. Like maybe for a minute I did back like when I was 19. Like I was like, ooh, I want to be a mom. But I never really had this tremendous like desire to have kids, and it's quite possibly because I was never in like a super stable relationship where that would lend itself to that. So I think that's like part of it. Maybe if I had that way back when, I would have had kids. But yeah, I mean, I'm still hoping for the wife thing, so that could still happen, and I think I would be a good wife, so thank you for noticing that. So anyway, that really wraps it up for Q&A. I think I've answered like every question that you guys put out there, and I know this went super long, so I'm going to try and edit it down as much as possible so that you're not like falling asleep. But anyway, thanks you guys for the support. I really do love doing this vlog. I hope you're loving it too. Leave your comments below and let me know what you're thinking. Make sure you like my video, subscribe to my channel, get to GretchensBakery.com and GretchensVeganBakery.com for all the recipes. And oh, I wanted to just mention one thing. Keep on watching my vlogs, because I'm trying to do like exciting and interesting things, and I do have, and I should go get it, hold on. I was contacted by a knife company called Kuma Knives. They offered me this knife for free. And I do love knives, like so, and I'll get into talking about different knives and why I love knives. Like I have a thing about knives, I just really like them. And so they sent me this awesome knife with the opportunity to do a giveaway. So they're going to give me 2 knives. So I'm going to do a contest, and I'm not really sure what the contest is going to be yet, but I'm going to announce that on a later vlog, like probably next week, and we're going to do a contest, so you guys will have an opportunity to win this knife. So keep on checking me out with these vlogs. I'm trying to keep it interesting and fun, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, so I hope you guys are too. And I'm going to stop talking now and wrap this up. So anyway, thank you guys for being here with me. I love you guys so much, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.